The frontier of the Mojave Wasteland is a dangerous place. All manner of mutated creatures and despicable men make independent life in the Mojave a difficult task. But somehow, small towns with small town values still exist even in 2281. These values can get you into trouble though, as helping someone in the Mojave is always a gamble, the stakes higher and odds worse than any table in New Vegas. The town of Goodsprings decided to double down and gamble on two wayward souls within a week of each other. They gave refuge to a troubled trader from the Crimson Caravan by the name of Ringo, and a courier who had been shot and left for dead. Did they win big, or lose it all? The choice is yours. Welcome to the Bravosity. I'm Brevin, and this is the first episode of our Fallout New Vegas quest analysis series. If you enjoy the video, give us a like, comment what quests you think we should cover, and subscribe to the Bravosity for more videos like this. So in this video, we're talking about Goodsprings and the trouble it sees itself in around the time you, the courier, wake up after Doc Mitchell pulls the lead out of your skull. Once he checks you out and determines you're okay, he'll send you to Sunny Smiles to learn how to survive in the wasteland. After completing this tutorial with Sunny, she'll tell you to speak to Trudy, the proprietor of the Goodsprings Saloon, and the town mom, as Sunny puts it.
Hey, do me a favor. Trudy, she's the bartender up at the Prospector. Kind of the town mom. She likes to meet newcomers. She'd be cross with me if I didn't ask you to poke your head in and say hi.
Entering the saloon after this will trigger this interaction.
I'm done being nice. If you don't hand Ringo over soon, I'm going to get my friends and we're burning this town to the ground. Got it?
We'll keep that in mind. Now, if you're not going to buy something, get out.
The voice acting isn't anything to write home about, but it's decent for the time, and the man she's arguing with does come across as someone to be taken seriously, and his threat to burn down the town is a strong one, since it's clear there's not much in the way of defense here in Goodsprings. Talking to Trudy will give you many options of discussion, as will talking to any of the named characters in Goodsprings, from Easy Pete to Chet the general store owner. You can ask about the town, the people who left you for dead, and most importantly, we can ask Trudy about the man she was just arguing with. She tells us his name is Joe Cobb, and he's a member of the Powder Gangers, a gang formed when the nearby New California Republic Correctional Facility was taken over by its prisoners, through the use of dynamite, which was used in forced labor mining operation at the prison. The Powder Gangers, as a group, do a great job at showing, right at the beginning, the ineptitude of the NCR, and its inability to keep control of its outer borders, as well as how much the war with Caesar's Legion is straining their resources. Goodsprings shows how the independents of the Mojave are suffering due to this ineptitude. It's very interesting to me to have a side quest this early in the game already start influencing your choice of faction for the end of it. This is something that we'll definitely talk about more throughout this series, how these side quests recontextualize the choices and your views of larger factions in the main quest. Back to our conversation with Trudy, she tells you that Joe Cobb and his Powder Gangers are looking for a trader named Ringo, the Crimson Caravaneer we spoke of earlier. If we ask Trudy where Ringo is, she'll tell us he's in the old gas station, and give us a key. An interesting note here is she says she is tempted to just hand Ringo over, although we have no options to convince her to do so, which seems like a bit of an oversight. But we can go find Joe Cobb hanging around the outskirts of Goodsprings. He's condescending and callous if you ask him any questions, but you can pique his interest by offering your help to take over the town. There's also a small intelligence check where you can manipulate Joe a bit with your superior intellect, getting a bit of XP as well. Joe tells you if you want to help him take over the town, your first task is to locate and kill Ringo. You can actually talk to him before talking to Trudy about Ringo, and if you did, then you'll have to go talk to her after talking to Joe to get the key for the gas station and find out where he is. So we go to the gas station and we come face to face with the least talented and best aged Beetle. He's armed with a revolver and threatens us since we're a stranger. We can answer nicely, indifferently, or defensively, but his response will be the same. Ringo chills out and offers to play a card game, which I refuse to learn. Then goes on to say he's part of the Crimson Caravan, which will be familiar to fans of the OG Fallouts. He says he can compensate us well if we help him against the Powder Gangers. We can take him up on his offer, or we can kill him for Joe. This is where the two quests branch off, and we get our first taste of New Vegas' branching storylines. Although there's no way to just turn Ringo into Cobb, without also convincing him to take over the town. It's a middle ground that I feel should have been present with how open most of New Vegas' quests are. If you offer to help Ringo, he'll tell you you'll need more than just the two of you, so try to enlist the townsfolk for help, starting with Sunny Smiles. Convincing Sunny is as easy as walking up and asking her to help. She tells you who else may be willing to help. Trudy, the town mom, can be convinced through a speech check, or with a sneak check that shows your capability. Both of these methods show that Trudy will only join as long as she's sure her people will be safe. Doc Mitchell will give you 3 stim packs just for asking, and 2 doctor's bags if you have 30 medicine. Chet, the owner of the general store, is a bit selfish and a little wimpy, mainly caring about his store being successful rather than the well-being of the town. He can be convinced to provide the town with supplies through a barter check of 25, or you can just buy some armor and supplies from him. Easy Pete, the old prospector, will provide you with dynamite if you can show him you know how to use it safely through an explosives check of 25. Lastly, although not suggested by Sunny, you can ask Victor, the robot who saved your life, to help as well. On the other hand, if you kill Ringo and return to Joe Cobb, he'll tell you to shake down the general store and the doctor for supplies. Chet, the general store owner, can be threatened into giving you and the Powder Gangers some leather armor with a speech check of 25, or swindled into it with a barter check of 25. The barter check really shows his selfishness and how he puts his store's success over the success and survival of the town. Doc Mitchell can be lied to through a med check of 25, and he'll give you medical supplies. I really like the med check here and how you lie to him about people being injured down the road. It's a nice little thing, I don't know. Although you can also buy or steal the supplies from either of them, or kill them for it. I really like this part of both sides of the fight, this whole preparation stage, because there's a lot of variety on what could happen with your build. And it feels great to have high enough skills to pass each of these checks and get the help in the fight. But if you don't have high enough skills, you can use drugs or skill magazines to supplement it. I like the characters for the most part. They definitely do fall into the old Western cliches, the old prospector, saloon owner, town doctor, town mom, etc. But if you talk to them a bit, you'll find a lot of charm and personality in their voice acting and in the writing. They're definitely more than one-dimensional stereotypes, but they're not quite full three-dimensional characters. Western themes and iconography run throughout New Vegas, and I enjoy them as they fit the location, the story, and the themes very well. But I'd say Goodsprings is the most on the nose about it, and it hits you with it right off the bat so that you know that the story as a whole is a Western, right off the bat. Once you've done what you can to support your side of the battle, even if you couldn't do anything, return to either Joe or Ringo, depending on the side you've chosen, and tell them you're ready. Next, the battle will commence. It's a pretty awesome little small-town skirmish, too. The Powder Gangers, Joe Cobb, and 5 others come from the Eastern Road, and the residents of Goodsprings stand in front of the saloon, ready to defend. The best part is that the previous section has a bit of effect on the fight, with your side gaining armor if you manage to get it from Chet, the people you convince to help will fight for the town, and it's technically possible for your side to lose if you couldn't get any support. or you're not helping in the fight, although it's very unlikely and I actually couldn't even replicate it for the footage in this video. One thing to note though is that Victor won't show up to help you fight, and if you ask him, he'll tell you he was hacked by an unknown assailant. And with a science check of 25, you can find out some more information on this. If your side wins the battle, either Joe or Ringo will thank you and you'll get some experience, some money, and you'll either gain or lose rep with Goodsprings or the Powder Gangers. Another interesting note here is that if you openly fight with your side, Goodsprings or the Powder Gangers, you will become vilified by the opposing faction, which means you'll be attacked on sight, and so you won't be able to conversate or try to do anything with that faction at all. Whereas, if you don't help them fight, if you don't kill any of the opposing faction, or if you only use sneak attacks to kill them, you will only be shunned, which will allow you to talk to them and not get immediately attacked whenever they see you. While Goodsprings' reputation only changes what this small town thinks of you, Powder Ganger rep is a bit more significant as they control most of the surrounding area, as well as have their own entire quest line if you head to the NCR Correctional Facility. Also, becoming allies with the Powder Gangers will cause you to lose rep with one of the largest factions in the game, the New California Republic. Overall, I do really enjoy both sides of this quest for many reasons. Firstly, I like how the quest offers you the choice to join either side. Secondly, I like how the outcome of the quest relies on your build. Thirdly, how it starts to form your view of the NCR and the plight of the independent settlements of the Mojave. And lastly, how thanks to the reputation system, your choices have long-lasting and significant consequences. It isn't without its problems, though. The way the quest is written, I feel it should have had a middle option to turn Ringo over to the Powder Gangers, so they would just leave Goodsprings alone. And the characters are all fairly generic, two-dimensional Western tropes. But even with these small issues, it's one of the best starter side quests I've experienced in an RPG, and shows perfectly how open New Vegas' quest design is and how the reputation system will affect your playthrough. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button to support us and subscribe to the Bravosity. Also, check out our Cyberpunk 2077 analysis series and me and Nate's review discussions.